All right, so this is, what is today? Today is Tuesday, September 5th. Hope you guys had a good long weekend. For those of you who aren't coming to class and you're just watching the videos at home, that is not the ideal way to do it unless you agreed with me ahead of time to take this online, because there should be supplemental stuff for you folks. So if you're in this class in person and you're just trying to watch the videos, I'm not like those other professors that do that crap. I do actually care if you show up, and I will be doing some things for folks who are here in person that I will not do for folks who are online. So I am taking attendance. If you're sick, I get it. If there's some other reason you can't be here, I get it. Just don't whine if you run into trouble and you don't understand something because you weren't here, just because you decided not to show up. Please do not come to me and want extra of my time to explain stuff to you. The intent is, and it will not continue to be this way, where I'm just doing Linux stuff and then and that's all class is. I know that's kind of boring for you guys. I'm going kind of slow purposefully, aiming to not leave anybody behind. So if you're watching this at home with my voice on like 5x speed, that's fine. But soon we're going to start using class time as lab time, where I give you guys assignments and don't walk you through exactly what to do. You guys have to flex your own muscles and practice your Google Foo and kind of figure stuff out. And I'll be here as a resource. So pretty soon, those class sessions are not going to be what we've had before. But if you're sitting at home and just not coming to class, enjoy it, because it's not going to last a lot longer. Today, here's what's on the menu. We're going to learn a little bit about Amazon Web Services. I'm going to show you my account, show you some stuff I have in there, and show you how I spin up some boxes. We're actually going to spin one up, and we are going to take a look at the syslog for that box and see if we can figure out if we can correlate the auth.log with some stuff that's going on in syslog. First, we have to determine if there is an auth.log and if there is a syslog. So once we do that, we'll try to transfer those, and I'll show you a few different ways that you can transfer from an AWS instance to a Windows box. Also, please excuse me. I'm going to sound like I have a lisp for a few days. I got Invisalign last August, and I was supposed to have them for 5 months. I ended up having them until May, and then the guy that did it said, like, oh yeah, just wear this retainer thing to the end of the year, then we'll get you your real retainers that you paid for. And I'm like, okay. Well, it turns out that dude popped smoke and just left. So the dentist that was part of this this group of 3 people, she broke the news to me that this guy, not only did he just leave, he also screwed up my Invisalign stuff. So I had to get all new clear aligners, and it's some new thing called Sure Smile. So I got new ones of those today, and also had bands in there too, so that's not fun. But I'm going to have those for at least 4 months, probably 5 or 6. So excuse me if I sound a little weird. I got to keep these in like 20-some hours, 22 hours a day, I think. So if you have trouble understanding me, just let me know. You can give that to me. Has everybody gotten this attendance sheet? Okay. Now let's hope I can hold on to it and not lose it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to send my screen for my personal machine to the remote PC. So it goes to the live stream, or other recording. Live stream. Okay, yep, I see it's getting captured there. So let me also put that up to the column display so I can see what you're seeing. Okay, so we're looking at Amazon Web Services. We're going to log in there. It's just aws.amazon.com. Okay, so once it comes up there, we're going to sign in. I'm going to black this out for just a moment. as I log in. Okay. What's the MFA code? All right, this is where it always gets dicey with Amazon because I have once we get to multi-factor authentication, it gets crazy because I have AWS multi-factor and I have multi-factor for my regular Amazon account, and they get conflated all the time. Yeah. Okay, so we may have to pivot here. Yeah. Super fun. Okay. You guys just take a little nap for now. Let's do multi-factor authentication on the password. We're just waiting on you guys.
He said something on Discord. Or at least he's being back. I think he's probably sure.
Okay, that took way longer than it should have. Sorry, folks. But we are now in Amazon Web Services. Holy smokes, last month was $415? That does not seem right.
Just do the free tier.
What instances do I have running? I've got 2 instances running, that's why. Woo, yikes. Okay, this guy's got to get shut down right away. Well, that's the problem. That's an expensive boy, and it's been running for a while. Okay, well, good news. We have a Linux box running that we can go to. So it's got a public IP right there. So now all we need to do is figure out what the username and password are for it. So, was anybody in my IS 477 Fall 22 class?
Maybe.
I was.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, and do we remember what that password is? That's the next part. So I have a program on here called Putty, and that might be a little bit hard for you to see. I don't think there's a way for me to make this bigger except changing the resolution of my machine, which is going to really cause trouble. So I'm sorry if you can't see.
What about that window appearance option?
Yeah, I know this will change the. It'll change when I get a cursor.
You
Or,
got
sorry.
a 10-point font. There you can change.
Will that change in this window too?
I believe so.
Try SSH it and Cali.
Yeah, I thought it was just gonna. It only changes when you get the little terminal window. Oh, font used in the terminal window.
Oh, yeah. I thought that's what you were wanting to do.
No. I want to make this little box bigger so people at home can see it. I don't know how good the quality is.
They're gonna have to squint.
Yeah, you're gonna have to squint or use your magnifier. Okay, so we want to connect. So we go to the session. Host IP address. Let's see, 35. Now, if you're trying to replicate this at home, this just might not work for you. Because you have to have a box to receive it. And I'm probably going to turn this box off. I didn't know I was running up a $400 bill every month. Probably should have figured that out. Who knows how long that's been going.
Even paying it?
Yeah. I got to figure out what credit card that's been going on too.
That's why you always do the free tier.
All right. So if I click, so there's the IP address and port 22. So I'm going to click open. Connection refused.
These are the last fall, right?
Was that one that 477 was modifying?
Oh, it definitely could be, but I think I made this. Yeah. So we could be in trouble because it could be people in class. If you've had 477 with me, you know that the task was to secure it against SSH brute force. And what some people did is make it so nobody could log in, which I guess is secure.
That was me.
Oh, there was a lot of people that did that. So it's like the equivalent of just bricking up the door so nobody can get in or out. All right, so let's learn how to start a new instance. Let's go ahead and stop this bad boy. Sorry. All right, we're going to stop the bleeding there and stop wasting $400 a month. All right. So I'm going to go to AMIs and just take a look at what I have in here. So I have a bunch of different images. So in AWS, in virtual computing in general, you have these things called images, and images are kind of snapshots of operating systems that I create. So this is the Linux log collection, an auth log collector. So I need to know what the usernames and passwords are on these things. So if I click on the names, sometimes I will put something in here that tells me what the username and password are. All right. So this looks like the image that I probably want. You can see the images have names here. Some of them, at least. AMIs have names, and these are names for those particular instances. So this is a Linux log collector, fall 2022. That's the most recent one we have here. So let's go with that bad boy. So now that I've picked an AMI, I can launch an instance from that AMI. So those of you who went through the AWS Cloud Practitioner course, you'll see. So right here, Luckily, I was smart enough that I did put the username and password there. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to open up a little Notepad instance, Notepad++ instance, and going to paste that in there so we'll have the username and password. All right. So we're going to have one instance going up. Instance type. So T2 micro, that's the free tier. Eligible. 1 CPU and 1 gig of memory. That's probably enough for what we're doing, and we're only going to interact with it on the command line. So we're going to pick that one, and we're going to proceed without a key pair because we have this set up. There are specific things that had to be done to set this up so you can log in through SSH. Okay, so typically you have to create a key pair, and so you'll have a certificate to log in with SSH. So and there's a place in PuTTY for you to put that certificate, and the certificates sometimes have passwords on them, sometimes not. But you put that certificate in there, and that certificate's what allows you to log in instead of a username and password. That just makes it a little bit more secure because nobody can guess the certificate. That's incredibly difficult to do because there are more possibilities than you would have time. Even if you could try, 1 million a second, there's just way too many possibilities for you. So having that certificate, you share that certificate around, and that's how people log into the box. But we specifically, I had to go in and disable the security functions of Amazon. They try to make it secure because what they don't like is things happen like happened with me where you got an instance up and you're like, hey, somebody took over that wasn't me, and then they end up losing money. Who knows? That it looks like that machine, that Windows box that I had up, I don't know why that would be $400 and some a month. My guess is that's charging for traffic, so I'm going to have to go look and see what was actually happening on that machine. It's likely that somebody compromised it and was using it to, mine crypto or do a spear phishing or a phishing campaign or something. So I got some cleanup to do. But I don't want to use one of these keys. I specifically made it where you can actually log in with the username and password and no certificate. So I'm going to click on Proceed Without a Key Pair. The network settings, you have to pick a subnet. You can pick whether or not you assign it a public IP. And then you have to create a security group, which is basically what they use as a firewall. So that's something you'd learn in 477. I have one set up here. Never mind. I'll just say select an existing one. It usually lets me select it from there, but I don't see it from here. So storage, 8 gigs of storage is fine for this little guy. I'm going to click advanced details and see what we got here. This is domain joining stuff. Nothing that we particularly need right now. Although I do need this security group to load. Okay. So if we click on the select an existing, it should load, and I have one. If not, it looks like we can create a new one, so we'll create a new one. And it's being super slow and dumb. Okay, so allow SSH traffic from anywhere. We can do custom. We can pick a certain IP address. You might not want to pick a certain IP address. You might not want to pick anywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and pick anywhere. That's not the safest thing to do. Usually you want to kind of figure out what the range of IP addresses you might be using and select that range. We're just going to go ahead and launch that sucker now and see where we're at. So this will take just a little bit to launch. While this is launching, let me talk to you guys. Just let's take a pulse of where we're at. We have a few more people here. How are you guys doing with your scripts?
Security group failed.
Well, that's cool. All right, well, let's get one of these that's already there. Now that you've gone through that process, let's start up one of these guys. And actually, I'll start up 3 or 4 of them. And then once they have public IP addresses, we can see if we can log into one of them. All right, so how are you guys doing with the homework assignments? Have you guys done the homework assignments? Does anybody think that we're moving too fast? This is too hard. You're not going to admit it in front of everyone. Who thinks we're moving too slow? This is too easy. We got a 3D printer coming in.
Oh. I actually got a 3D printer.
Do the little talk.
Or not really, we just have like a decent like
We're gonna go for it.
but right now we just use dirty internet.
Let this be a lesson to you, everyone. If you're going to show up late to class, you need to bring a 3D printer.
They gave us 2 more big ones too.
Yeah.
Really? Where are they?
They're still
He
there.
said
We
he
have
has
to
to
pick
clear
them up.
something off of him, and then we can get him back. We got his number though, so we'll text him later.
Dang. Is this from I2C?
We
Oh, is that
talk to
that?
people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's on like the second
Nice.
floor.
Is that the students that started their own company, 3D printing
Yeah.
things?
Yeah.
Well done. All right. So what you missed here is you're lucky because we've had some trouble getting started, so you didn't miss a ton. All right, but all right, I'm going to keep moving forward then, and I'm probably going to accelerate the pace just a little bit. So if you're struggling, are you guys using your groups? You're not communicating with me, but hopefully you're communicating with your groups. No?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
groups are
communicating.
good.
Yeah, groups.
Yeah?
What did we miss?
You guys are so quiet. All right, well, if you are struggling, you need to reach out to me and let me know. And if your group's not working out for you, you need to reach out to me and let me know. Because I'm probably going to assign a group project here fairly soon. All right, so we have some IP addresses that we can try, and now we can open up our little faithful putty instance here, or putty. All right, so 35.85.45.49. Okay, this is promising.
I see what you're talking about.
Before.
All right, so we want to log in as Ubuntu. And then we have the password here. Not sure if I can paste that or not. Can. Okay, so we're in. What do we say we're going to do? Well, we're going to check to see if there's an auth.log file. So let's go to,
Oh, we're just looking over that.
yeah. Very interesting. Now, typically you'd be able to type and you can see what's going on in there. We cannot, so.
Dang.
Okay. That's nice. Well, let's try another one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. You guys are gonna leave class today and be like, wow, that dude does not know what he's doing. Unfortunately, this is a lot of what cyber's about, is thinking things are gonna go smoothly and then they don't. Well, let's see if we can log in, and if we can log in, then I'll worry about changing the size. Access denied. Okay. Account locked due to 720 failed logins. Okay, so that means somebody actually tried to secure this against SSH brute force. Good stuff.
It's a weird number to block at,
That is.
720.
Because there's like asterisk.
I mean, you know, sometimes you just forget your own password and you mistype it like 9 times because you're like dyslexic, you know?
Yeah, but that's
But what
giving
about
you
720?
Yeah, I never did.
719 times to get it right.
Look, you should have seen me trying to get on my home server this morning. I mistyped my password 13 times in a row, every hour for about 3 hours.
26. That's not.
Be a great segue into password cracking.
Yeah, it would be. Fortunately,
Space it out.
we got it. We're in. So let's make sure I can type. Okay, all right, now we're cooking. So let's go to appearances really quickly. Appearance, let's get this a little bit bigger so the folks at home can see what's happening. All right, okay. So we now have a Linux instance that's running out there. So let us check and see if we can do less. Actually, let's do tail of /var/log/auth.log. This should look familiar to you. This is kind of what we've been messing around with for quite a while. So if we look at the the last numbers in here, it looks like February 10th was probably the last time this was open. And then we open it up today, and we can see that there was an accepted password for Ubuntu. That's the IP address we're currently using. Nice. Okay. So do we have a syslog on here? So let's go to cd /var/log. And let's look what all's in here. Yes, we have a syslog. We haven't looked at syslog yet. So let's look at syslog. And let's see what's in there. Okay, starting daily APT upgrade and clean activities. All right, so this is upgrades, DHCP requests. Okay, look at this. Maybe we could do something with that. There seems to be lots of those in syslog. Okay, wait, what's this here? Stopped target graphical interface, stopping ACPI event daemon. Bound to 172.31.30.122. Interesting. So what do we think this is indicative of? How can we find out?
Where are you at?
Right here where it says bound to that IP address, renewal in 1693 seconds. What does it mean if it's bound to an IP address?
That it's only going to work with that IP address. It's associated.
Yeah, so that looks like our IP. So something happened there at 2056. So we'll keep looking down here. Message repeated 27 times. rsyslog d. rsyslog was HUPED. Okay. Well, looks like we got a lot to learn. Initializing C group subsys CPU set. Yeah. So what did we say that we wanted to have? Who remembers why we were talking about even getting into the syslog anyway? What have we been looking at in this class so far, in the auth.logs? What were we pulling out?
Cron.
Yes, information about cron jobs or tasks that were running automatically, okay? So somewhere in the syslog, we think we might be able to find out what cron jobs are running, right? So the best way to do that is to look line by line through this file, right?
I guess that depends on if you have something specific you're trying to look for, or a set of things you're trying to look for.
We're not doing anything for the next year.
I would,
There's only 983 lines, which is a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
I would argue the best way to do it is to figure out the things you're specifically trying to look for that would be suspicious.
Well, we're looking for cron job stuff. What's the easy, cheap, free way to just, like a stupid, simple way to see if there's stuff about cron jobs in this log file?
Grep cron?
Yeah. Use our little friend grep, put in cron, and then put the name of the file. And let's pipe that to less. Okay. So we see this command here, cd /and run -parts -report /etsy /cron.hourly. Did we have anything that was running hourly on our instance when we looked?
We did.
Yes, we did. Okay, it looks like this run parts --report is running hourly. Do we have anything running at a different frequency?
We've got,
You guys have slept since then. It's been a long weekend. But somebody besides Keith can answer this.
sorry.
In what we were looking at, what have we seen with respect to those cron jobs?
They were like an hour apart or something like that.
There was one that was running every hour. Did we see anything else that wasn't running every hour?
Startups.
About the 17th minute.
There was one that was running on the 17th minute of every hour, but then there was one there were two of them that we saw that are running each day. Right? So apparently there's a cron.hourly, and look at this one here, cron.daily. 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 So it looks like there's a place on here, /etsy /cron.daily. Okay, so let's take a look into that. Let's do some investigations let's go cd to /etsy /cron. All right, let's go to /etsy. And then let's look in there. Okay, there's a lot. But we can see over here, cron.d, cron.daily, cron.hourly, cron.monthly, cron tab, cron weekly. Okay? So what do you think goes into cron.d? Well, we don't know. Let's look at this one. Cron.daily, what do you think's in there?
Stuff that happens daily.
Stuff that you want to run on a daily basis, once every 24 hours.
So let's see what's actually in there. Do we see anything in there that we've seen from the logs? Yep, popularity contest. So, actually, let's do a -LA on this real quick. Yeah, it looks like you can't execute it. What happens if we look at it? So it looks like that's a configuration file. No.
I don't see a .conf.
There's not. So ls popularity. When I do a tab, it's completing it to that. So let's
You're
just.
trying to list
You're right.
a file, which is
Yeah.
hard to do.
Which is not going to work.
I was giving you credit. I was saying it's hard to do.
But even when I do less, it doesn't like that. So apparently, green means it's a configuration file.
Run file against it. See if we can figure out what kind.
Nice, it's empty.
But it's still calling it a .conf file.
And it also has content in there. It's 3449. So, all right. Well, we don't quite know what's going on in there.
Can you bend it?
Let's try it.
No. You're stuck in the bend.
Oh yeah. And how do we get out of it? It's Q and then a little.
Colon Q.
That's colon Q. Thought it was exclamation point.
Lowercase.
Yes,
Q.
it is. Why are we on caps lock? It's because I was still holding down the shift for the colon.
Good, you escaped.
All right. Well. Okay, so let's take a look at cron tab now.
So, was it green because it was a
Comp file?
No, like a hard link file, maybe, but it still should have pulled it up when you went into it.
You mean it's not a symbolic link? We'll just look at this cron tab file. We're just learning. We can go look at man pages and see if we can figure out what's going on with cron and how it works. But right now, we're just fooling around in here, seeing what we can do. So we see this on the 17th minute. Run parts report cron.hourly. Does this line up with what we saw before in the auth.log file?
Yes.
It does. And there was something that was running on the 25th minute that was running daily. And that looks like it's this here, right?
Is that running every? See, what's the 6 for? Because that looks like it's in the hour slot, so every 6 hours.
I think that means at 6:25.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then 6:47. I do remember seeing something that ran. And too, so we have stuff that's running. We have something that runs monthly, weekly, daily, and hourly. And it looks like it's a report. So this is from this Amazon Web Services instance. I wouldn't imagine that if you pulled a Kali instance off of Kali.org, you would have these things running on there. But Amazon wants to run these reports. And I'm thankful they're running these reports. So that means that probably what was going on is not something nefarious. Right? Okay. So now we've had a chance to kind of investigate that. All right. Let's go back to and look what other logs we have in here. Let's go. So we have some different stuff in here we could look at, but I really want to look at this syslog, right? What all is in here? Store helpers, bound to, there's renewal. Look at all these renewals. Bounds, there's just a lot of stuff in here. Is there anything that's useful to us? Let's do page down. Snap has no updates available. Stopped target multi-cloud. Getty on TTY1. Anything at all in here look like it might be useful?
I was still looking for like things that associated to cron or something.
No, just in general, is there anything in this file that we think might be useful to us for cybersecurity?
I'm sure there's something.
Yeah.
Base memory trampoline, faking a node. Well, that sounds weird. Yeah. All right. So we probably don't really understand what the heck is happening here. So where can we go to figure out what's going on?
You can Google what this log is supposed to capture.
You could. You know what else we could do is we could just Google one of these things. Let's try that. Dentry cache hash table entries. happens if we Google that? What was it? Cache hash. Now, why am I putting that in quotes?
So that you get an exact phrase result.
Yeah, I want to know exactly what's going on. Okay, well, that's not what we want. That's somebody talking about the thing.
Looks like a kernel level then.
Entry cache hash table entries. I know cache table entries. Nothing really going on there. Oh, when the number of entry cache hash table entries gets too high, use of assigned integer. Oh, we're falling asleep here.
Stack Overflow.
Okay, well, what else we got here?
Speculative store bypass vulnerable.
Okay, yeah, let's check that out. Speculative store bypass is the name given to a hardware security vulnerability and exploitation that takes advantage of speculative execution in a similar way to the Meltdown and Spectre security vulnerabilities. It affects ARM, AMD, and Intel families of processors. It was discovered by researchers at Microsoft Security Response Center and Google Project Zero. It was discovered by them. Are we sure? Somebody could have had it before. Okay.
It's probably published.
Yeah.
Discovery is published.
So at least it was made known to the world, right?
Yeah.
So let's do this, and I think we had a colon right here. Oops, not in. OpenSUSE. So SUSE is a Linux distro. Hi there, just wondering what this message in my dmessage log means. I feel concerned for my privacy. Any help to understand this would be greatly appreciated. Searching the internet turns up all kinds of useful documents. This one tries to explain it using an everyday coffee shop analogy. Oh, that sounds wonderful. I don't hear anything. Oh, we're muted, that's why.
Early 2018. And just like when Spectre and Meltdown were
Okay, let's
if the
try
news
again.
about a computer security threat that lets cyber criminals steal sensitive information through any web browser is giving you deja vu, you're not alone. Many are comparing this new issue, known as speculative store buffer bypass, to the Spectre and Meltdown threats in early 2018. And just like when Spectre and Meltdown were announced, software patches are ready to help with this new threat. So what makes speculative store buffer bypass different? Imagine your computer is a restaurant. Waiters move from table to table writing down orders, called stores, in their ticket booklets. Think of these booklets as memory buffers that allow them to serve several tables more efficiently. At some point, a waiter will go to a shared station to transfer orders from his booklet to his customers' bills. He may decide to print out some bills in advance to have them ready, but to do this, he has to speculate that he's the only one serving his customers. Usually he's right, but sometimes a customer will flag down a different waiter and ask to add something else. Can I get some coffee? The new waiter adds the item to the order, but now the printed bill is incorrect. When it's time to pay, the first waiter double checks and sees that his customer's order no longer matches the printed bill. He throws the old bill out and prints out a new one. A similar process is going on in your actual computer, where processors are like those busy waiters, storing data to and loading data from memory addresses. They are buffering requests and using speculative execution to make sure all this happens as quickly as possible. In order to avoid errors, the processors will double-check if any address used in a load was part of a recent store to that same address. If so, the speculative data gets thrown out, just like our waiter threw out the incorrect bill. The problem is, This speculation occurs in a shared, unsecured area, so it's possible for unauthorized users to see it. This allows an attacker to create a malicious piece of code that fools the processor into reading from one address while it thinks it's reading from somewhere else. By tricking the processor, attackers can steal data, like passwords and credit card numbers, undetected. So how can you protect yourself against a threat that doesn't look like a threat? Technology companies have come together again to create patches that turn off speculative execution for store buffers. This stops unauthorized users from exploiting this vulnerability. It's critical to install these patches right away and stay up to date with the latest releases of operating systems. This will reduce performance slightly for some operations, but not as significantly as the patches for Spectre and Meltdown. Patches will continue to be optimized to reduce the impact on performance even more, and future hardware designs will eliminate this vulnerability altogether. New technology threats aren't déjà vu. They're a continuing challenge we all need to deal with. That's why it's essential to keep the lines of communication open among technology companies, communities, and researchers to head off threats before they become huge problems.
I like that this video about sharing.
There's some stuff on Reddit about it.
Okay, all right. Well, is that something that we think might be useful?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let's write that down. All right, speculative store bypass vulnerable. Okay. Ah.
Rob. Looks like you just got hit with vulnerability.
I did.
You're a nano.
I see that.
Just use Vim.
I don't think he intended to go to.
No, so I right-clicked in there and it took me to Nano somehow. I didn't know it would do that. Okay, so we want that speculative store bypass vulnerable. So we're gonna grab that.
Apparently, it seems to cause random reboots and slow performances on people's computers.
We're gonna throw this down here in our notes. Okay, so let's do this. What I'd like you guys to do for next class on Thursday, okay? We're going to pull down, we're gonna learn how to get this file, right? So I'm gonna show you how to pull a file from a remote box over SSH. And I'm gonna show you how to do that with a different kind of tool called WinSCP, okay? That's what we'll finish up today with. What I'd like you to do, I'll post that file onto Canvas, and I want you to write a little bash script that will take a syslog file as an argument, and it will print out whether or not that machine is vulnerable to speculative store bypass based on that syslog file, okay? So there are a couple things you'll have to handle. If you don't find speculative store bypass, if you don't find this line in there, it means it's not checking for it. So you'll have to say no check found or something like that. No indication found or something like that. So 3 states you could be in: vulnerable, not vulnerable, or unknown, right? So you have to account for each of those. So I want you to look, you're going to be looking through the file to see if it has this in here, this speculative store bypass vulnerable. And that's all you're going to do is just kind of report that, right? That's all your script needs to do. Check for this line and then say whether it's vulnerable or not. Print that out.
Like, are you gonna give us like a file to look at?
Hmm?
Are you gonna give us a file to look at?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a file.
Okay.
That's what we're going to do the rest of the class. We'll pull that off of there.
Vulnerable, not vulnerable,
Unknown.
unknown.
Yeah.
Vulnerable, not vulnerable.
So one thing that we don't know is why this line is in there. Is that something that AWS is doing a check for, and that's why it's in there? Or is that something that Linux as a whole is going to do a check for now? We don't know why that's in there. But I'm going to give you this file. I want you to make a script that will check the file to see if it sees this line in there. And then we'll report back whether it's vulnerable or not vulnerable. Now, the unknown means we didn't see this, so we don't know. Right? Is that part clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
That should be fairly straightforward based on what we've done. Now, I'm not holding your hand walking you through doing it, so you're going to have to kind of figure out on your own exactly how you're going to make that happen. But it needs to look for this line and say whether it's vulnerable, not vulnerable, or unknown, right? And then what I want you guys to do, and this isn't programming, but I want you guys to look into this a little bit. What do you need to do to this machine? If you have a machine that does this, what would need to be done on that machine to make it where it was not vulnerable? Now, we know that your answer, when you run, we're all going to be using the same syslog file, and it's the one we just looked at, so it should actually pull up that this is vulnerable. We know this is going to be vulnerable. What we don't know is, what do we have to do to make this machine not vulnerable to it?
I can take an educated stab at that one.
Update.
Update the kernel.
Yeah. My guess is it's going to take an update, and that's all we have to do, right? But I want you guys to kind of look into that and see what it says. There may be a configuration somewhere that needs to change. Now, ultimately, what I'd like you guys to be able to do, one of the projects that I offer up for this course, of course, it's the first time we've done it, but I think that this is something I've helped middle schoolers do, so I know that it's definitely within your reach, is creating a bash script that can go in and change the settings on a machine to make it more secure. Like requiring a certain level of password, shutting down certain things that shouldn't be running, etc. So this is kind of a first step in that direction, is processing this, looking at a file on a box, and then figuring out whether or not it's vulnerable to this particular vulnerability, and then figuring out what we need to do to make it where it's not vulnerable, okay? So when you get this, you're going to put, when I give you this syslog file, you're going to put it in /var/log/syslog, okay? And when you write your script, you're just going to check /var/log/syslog. Now, what else I saw on that box when we were looking at it, let me see if I can go back to Putty real quick. Okay? You see all these, look at all these gzipped logs. Does this look familiar to you? Do you remember did I give you guys a bunch of auth.log files?
Yes.
And some of them were zipped? Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do, is we'll pull down all of these syslog files. Now, was anybody successful at making a script that could open up multiple auth.log files? Okay. So you should be able to now repurpose that script to open up multiple syslog files, right? Now, how did you handle the fact that some of the auth.log files were gzipped, were zipped up? You didn't, because you didn't have to deal with that yet. All right? But you will. And what I'd like ultimately for one of our projects to be probably sometime around midterm, is to go, you can make a script that you can go on any box, and it will grab all the auth.log files that are on there. If it's zipped, it'll unzip it, and you're going to store all that stuff. You're going to process it all, right? So you can kind of start looking into that. But for Thursday, what we'll do is I'll pull down that syslog file and give it to you. You're going to take it and put it on your box. It actually may not let you put it in the syslog or /var/log. It may not let you change the logs there. So you have to put it in a different place. But make sure in the comments, and on Thursday, we'll kind of look at this together. But put it somewhere on your machine and make something that will look through there and figure out whether you're vulnerable or not to that vulnerability. And then start looking at what we would need to do to the machine to make it not vulnerable. So I'll save this machine, and hopefully on Thursday, once you guys figure that out, we can go and make this so it's not vulnerable, and then we can run that, we can try to run that check again, right? Go
So
ahead.
did you want us to like find it and then you want us to write a script that'll fix it? Is that what you're saying?
Eventually.
Okay.
So for Thursday, you don't need to do that. But I eventually want us to get us to the point where we can drop a script on a machine, and it's going to go and check some of the logs to see what's going on there, if there's interesting stuff. It's going to go and check the configurations and let us know what configurations are not in line with what we're supposed to be doing for guidelines, like security guidelines. Right, so imagine you drop a script on this box and it prints out like, oh, here are all the people that have attempted to log in over SSH. Here are the cron jobs that are running. Here are the settings you have for your password. This is not secure, right? It doesn't meet the threshold for what it should, blah, blah. So you could drop this on any box and it'd do kind of a little cybersecurity health check on it. Right?
Yeah.
That would be a pretty handy little tool to have. So that's kind of what we're building toward. For the end of the semester, that's kind of the idea I had for like a project you guys could do to do a cybersecurity health check on the box. Okay? So this is our first step. Again, I'm going to pull down this sys.log file, and I want you to look through that sys.log file and see if it's vulnerable, and look for that line that says whether or not it's vulnerable to that attack. All right, so we need to pull that syslog file down. We're going to need our Linux box. So let me get that fired up. So far, we've been looking at this box that is online. Remember at the beginning of this video, if you didn't skip it, you'll saw that I discovered that since probably at least May, I've been paying $400 some a month for Amazon Web Services. That's bad. Also, let you know how busy I am. That I'm not even checking my finances, so that's not good.
Pay me to do your finance?
You're sworn to secrecy to not tell my kids.
Yeah. I only charge $300 to do finances.
What'd you say?
I only charge $300 a month to do
Yeah.
finances.
Might be worth it.
I mean, you're good as long as the wife doesn't find out.
Yeah. Don't you dare blackmail me, kids.
It's like, honey, why is there a $4,000?
Yeah.
I can explain.
As long as we don't get kicked out of the house and they all have food, should be fine. All right, so here's our machine. So this is from before where we were looking into syslog stuff. All right, so
Is your laptop plugged in?
it's not, but it should have enough. 18 minutes. Good call. All right. So who has moved files around in Linux before from one Linux machine to another?
I have.
All right. So tell us how you did it.
I usually just copy them.
How do you copy them?
CP, and then.
Ooh, bad start.
Ooh, how would you do that from machine to machine? Not within a machine, but from one Linux box. Oh, okay. All right. So we SSH'd, right?
Yep.
How do you SSH on Linux?
I usually do it through Python, so that's the.
Oh, snap. Well, let's show you how to do it on the command line. It's really complicated. SSH, and then a space.
Username.
And then what username for the remote machine? If it has the same username as you're using right now, you don't have to worry about that. But by default, it's going to take your username that you're using right now in this session and try to log in with that. What's our username in this session?
Callie.
Correct. And what's our username in the remote session? Let's look at our little notes here. Ubuntu. So we're going to have to put that in there. Ubuntu, right?
Yep.
Now we need the IP address.
Go back a space.
We got to go over here. which one was it? Was it this guy? I think so. 5471 74 150. How can we find out? Well, let's go to it. Oh, it's not going to be on here. That was me. That was Cyber Magic.
There's your putty at the bottom there.
It's Cali. Like wow.
It's,
Okay, that's the
122, or
That's the
no,
private address,
Yeah.
but we don't need that private address. Okay, so 31 31 22. We can now go back to
When
here.
I told you that, I was like, there's no money. I'll tell you later after class.
That's the public. Where's our private?
Do you remember that, Harsh? I had to
Is this
apologize
one here?
to you 'cause I thought you
203?
were racist, 'cause I thought you
Okay.
did it the wrong way.
I'll trust you. You were taking notes there. So 54 213 17 203.
Do you remember that?
That's not the right one.
But I wish I did though. I would blackmail you over it.
Like apologetic afterwards.
Yeah, because I thought I was gonna get canceled.
What you gonna get? Bruh, I don't care.
213 17 203.
I don't care. As long as it's not.
You like your chairs. I don't care either.
Bro.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
Can you have screen it?
Tile management.
Yeah. Like drag it to the side? No, not that, your
Yeah,
VM.
so
your
I have
overall
to-
VM.
We're not in full screen, so that's not gonna work. So.
Yeah. Just drag it to the right.
It was IF.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Really?
Except it doesn't want to type it in. Yay.
SSH. You think I should sell these pants?
Numlock.
He said out
Numlock
there,
was key right there.
You can throw that to the other side
No,
of
these
these
pants.
I only need it for a second.
Right now, what do you wanna do?
Bro, no.
So you're missing a little something.
What do you mean we're missing a little something something?
Hey, wire transfer services.
That's not what we're missing.
I'll wait.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, you want these pants?
No, I'm
Okay.
Or not 51.
Okay. All right. So we think the IP address is wrong. Let's try it again.
You have to do dash L. It's gonna keep on doing that.
What's dash L?
Oh, that's where like the what is it called, the cat flag?
Yeah.
Have to use what?
Like it's always
At?
Dog.
Oh.
I never knew the cap.
So
Okay.
location.
So instead of having a space, it's not two arguments we're feeding it. We're not giving it a username and IP address. We are going, if we need to specify that, we just feed the IP address to it. If we're going to specify the username, we put the username and then an @ because this will work if I get rid of that username. But the problem is, it's going to try to log in. I put yes for that the first time, right?
My brother in Christ.
Right? So now you can see it says Callie @ that's password. Well, that's not going to work because we're not trying to log in as Callie.
Rodney's a water break.
Yeah, he's having fun there. Okay, we're in. All right, so this is good news. We are in to that remote machine. And what we want to do is we want to pull that syslog file off of there. So we can use this SCP, which is secure copy. Okay, and we're going to do SCP, we're going to do first the source and then the destination. So it is on, let's see where we're at right now on this machine. Home Ubuntu, that works for us, right? So we do SCP, we need to go to the remote machine. So Ubuntu.
You should just be able to
Yeah.
do
IP.
the full path because you're on that machine, right?
Yes. Okay. We got virtual machines inside virtual machines. Okay, so we're in our let's figure out where we are. So we're on our host machine, but and then we have a guest Ubuntu machine that we're on, not Ubuntu, Kali Linux machine. We're on our Kali Linux. We've SSH'd over to an Ubuntu instance. So I'm just going to type an exit here really quickly so we can go through this inception. I'm using a Windows computer that has a Kali virtual machine on it. Within this Kali virtual machine, I've opened up a terminal, right?
Yes.
So if I can log in to my remote machine by doing SSH and then the username at the IP address. And then I can enter that in, right? So I can do that. Right now, I'm just going to say, I don't really want to log into that machine. I just want to pull this file off of there. So go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say, that's the way I typically do it, because it's a little easier to go that way than the other way.
So I'm going to say secure copy. I'm going to secure copy. And I put on here the source. So the username at the IP address. Okay. And then a colon. And I need to tell it what file I want to get. So we're going to get /var/log/what? Don't answer, Keith. What? Syslog, correct. That's what we want to pull down. So we could just get just the one file, but I want to pull down all the syslog files. So that should work. Okay. And now we do a space to give it the next argument. Okay, the next argument for SCP is the destination. Where do I want to put this?
Like on our Kali instance, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, so the first thing is the source. So where am I getting this from? And then the next thing is destination. Where do I want to put it? So since the remote machine is our destination, is our source, the destination's our local machine. And I can put it in the current directory that I'm in just by putting this period.
Oh, okay.
So because I have multiple files,
You might want to make a folder.
one thing you might want to do is make a folder for this. But we're already started here, so let's see what happens. If you don't make a folder, let's just pop over to one of these other things right here. That is tiny. We're in /home/Kali right now. Where are we on the other one? We didn't.
Probably same place. No, you're in /Etsy.
Yeah, we're in /Etsy right now. This is not where we want to do this. That's not where we want to put our files. So we're just going to say /home.
You can do /.
Yes, you can. /home/Kali. You could also do that, which is effectively the same thing. All right, but we're going to do /home/Kali and be explicit for now. So I just want to put this in my home directory. All of those files. So this is anything that has syslog in it, or anything that starts with syslog, we're going to bring over. So let's hit enter and see what happens. Okay, this is good. What is it asking for?
Your password.
Yeah, so Daniel and Keith can't answer now. What is it asking me for?
Is it the root password for the account?
It's asking me for a password, but what password? We have a Windows box as our host machine. We have a Kali box, which is our VM on that Windows box. And then we have an Ubuntu box that's on AWS. Which password is it asking for?
It says the Ubuntu, so I'm going to guess it's asking for the...
Yes, it's asking for the password for that user Ubuntu. Why does this make us happy as cybersecurity professionals?
They can just reach in and grab things.
That's right? So what I just basically told the computer to do was say, hey, go to the machine with the IP address 54.213.17.203, into, as the user Ubuntu, and take that every file that in /var/log that starts with syslog. If I could do that without putting in a password, that wouldn't be good. That's like me saying, go to Harsh's house and take anything that's made out of gold, right?
You're not gonna find anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing found. Okay, well, yeah. Go to DJ's house and find whatever credit card that that AWS stuff has been going on, because he apparently doesn't notice when it's getting charged $400 a month. So, okay, so we're telling it to go there. It needs a password. We know the password. It's the same one we had earlier. Now let's do this one. Once we get logged in, now it starts pulling over these files. So it's showing us the files that it's pulling over and what size they are. And this operation was successful, 100%. Nice. We like that. So now if we...
Why did you use SCP instead of CP?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, yeah.
Why do we use SCP instead of CP?
Is one more secure, I'm assuming?
What does the S stand for?
SSH.
Okay, what does SSH stand for?
Secure something.
So what do you think SCP stands for?
Secure copy.
Yeah, can we use CP to do this?
You could, theoretically, right?
Oh, you know what? It's really easy to try it. Hold on, let's cd.home/Kali. Now we got all those syslog files in there, which we need to move to our own folder now. So you guys should be familiar with that. We're just going to make one called test1 so that we can do this command that we had before and see if we can put it in test1. And we're going to go to the beginning, and we're just going to take that. We're just going to take that S off of there, and what happens? Okay, why isn't it working? Anybody have a guess?
You don't have the directory?
CP is not really one you use to move from machine to machine.
I moved to a folder that's shared between the machines on a Python program that I wrote.
Okay, so that's different, right?
That's why I said
That's
I don't
different,
know.
right? SCP, secure copy, will allow you to move from machine to machine, move files from machine to machine.
Through SSH.
Okay, so what's happening here is this computer saying, hey, I can't see this Ubuntu app, blah, 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 blah. There's no file. Because it's not reading it as an IP address to go to. It's reading it as a file and says, hey, I can't see that. Right? I don't see any of this file here. So if you use SCP, it's a different program that allows you to use SSH to move files over, to copy things. But I can also push it to that machine. So let's make us a little file here. Okay. Actually, let's do Nano. All right. Let's say I know Harsh's password to his AWS box and I want to scare him. I'm going to make a little message.
No, he switched his password.
Okay, so we're going to do Control X here. Yes, we'll save. Now we have this little secret message.txt, okay? If I do ls and look at it, we see secret message.txt. So I can use SCP, and I can say, I don't have to even use the dot slash. This secret, well, you're right. Let's spell it right, and then you can find it. Okay? And I want to push this to that other box. So I can do Ubuntu at, oh, I need to let you guys go soon, don't I? 54.213.17.203. Okay, and a colon, then where do I want to put it? I want to put it in /home/Ubuntu. Okay, so what we're trying to do now is take this secret message file and we're going to push it over from our machine to that remote machine. We hit enter, it wants the password, which we know.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, that's.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now let's go back to our putty window. Let me minimize this mamma jamma. Okay, now this is that remote machine. So let's go to CD tilde will take us back to our home directory as we see /home/Ubuntu. And if we do ls, what's this? There's a secret message in there. And then we see our little secret message. I know what you did last summer. So you can push and pull files to and from. So I can't show you with WinSCP right now, but that's okay. So I will put all these syslog files up on Canvas, right? So what I'd like you to do is search through those syslog files, right? I want you to make a script that will look through the syslog files and come up with and tell me whether or not it's vulnerable to our little friend. The speculative store bypass, okay? And I also want you to research how you would make that machine. So part of this, I want to write up a little paragraph write-up about how you would secure the machine, make it where it's not vulnerable. Does that make sense? Seem reasonable? Okay, we'll see you guys on Thursday. Yeah, let me stop.